you already know what time it is when you hear the horns, and this is one of those conversations that me personally I've been waiting for. I don't remember. You know what I didn't do? I didn't count how many times it's happened, but Ashe Wrestling has done one of my favorite things lately at Ashe Wrestling has been the hold for hold challenge. Now, if I'm gonna walk for a little bit, fam. If y'all catch me on the Patreon, y'all know that one of the things we like to do is watch live rap music. When you get two cats in that squared circle, the one knows how to rap, the other one knows how to rap, and they just spend like 15, 20 minutes rapping in circles. Now, the People's Prince, when he said he was going to Ashe, he said, look, I'm doing something different. We're going to do hold for hold. No strikes, just graps. And I think outside of some of the fantastic storytelling on them shows, those have been some of my favorite moments. And since he's been dazzling crowds with the hold for hold, the brother's also been moving. I mean, he's the People's Prince for a reason. Let me make sure I got my notes correct. Waterloo, Iowa's own, is currently your Action World Champion as well as your Naptown All Pro World Champion. He's number 46 on the 2026 BRP 50, and 46. Those in the know say that he is the number one contender for the independent world title. When is that match going to happen? We don't know yet, but you know what? This brother got a lot of matches going on, so we're going to talk about those and a bunch of other stuff. The People's Prince, Darian Bengston, welcome to the stage. Welcome to the Black Rasslin podcast. Let me get you some applause. Let me get you on the Summer Jam.
Hey,
brother, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great now. That introduction got me feeling some type of way. I'm great now.
Well, you know, it's been interesting the last year. I don't claim to be like the most learned about everything. So when I hear about somebody and I like what they do, you're gonna hear about it. And since I've seen you working, it's been dope to see you grow as a performer. I think, and this question is gonna excite fam too, because this recently happened. One thing that I love about what's going on in pro wrestling, especially this move to make the art of pro wrestling a thing, has been the produce shows, and I love the fact that that very first show, the very first match was Darian Bengston versus Zack Sabre Jr. I mean, I nothing said, like, for what I believe that movement is trying to do, it feels like that match is an important statement to start things off. For you, for what you do as a grapsman, as a technician, take us back to when you first heard that you were going to be wrestling Zack Sabre Jr. and what was going through your mind when you knew that technician was going to be standing across from you in the ring.
I think Adam had first talked to me about wrestling Zack maybe like a year and a half ago.
Wow.
Yeah, back when he was still booking JCW, maybe the first time I ever met him, he was just like, "Hey, have you ever worked with Zack?" And I was like, "What?" Like, bro, don't play with me. Like, you know, I haven't. Like,
right.
And he was just like, "Oh yeah, we'll make that happen." I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." You know what I'm saying? I've been offered. You know how this stuff goes. Like, people offer you dream stuff all the time, and you know, with Zack, it's one of those things where it's like, regardless of how I feel or perceive or think about him, I think he is perceived as either number one or one of two when it comes to the top of the mountain. I think if you ask most people, it's probably some semblance of Zack and Gresh is number one, and Lee now I think is also starting to be part of that conversation.
Yes.
And so for someone like me, who, you know, I was mentored by Daniel Makabe, who I think is a very underrated technician in his time. I feel like I'm very much in that same category where I'm feeling a little bit left out the conversation. So you know, the past year or so is just really about getting the opportunity to prove that I belong in the conversation. And I've just been afforded such an amazing stage to be able to do that. And so, before I had to get to Zack, I had to get to Gresham. I had wrestled Lee for Adam, but I've wrestled Lee before multiple times.
Mhm.
But, when I meet Gresham, that's my first time ever wrestling Gresham. It's like I've kind of been on this check mark thing. I was supposed to be Alex Shelley's last match before he signed to WWE. His only ever canceled flight in his 27-year career, something crazy, you know what I'm saying?
Damn.
So now it's just like, okay, well, in this weird way, I kind of get to like jump up to the top and start crossing downwards, And it's this thing where I was very excited to be there and to have it. And not necessarily nerves, but just kind of this thing of like understanding kind of the gravity of it as far as my career goes.
Right.
And
it's an important match for right now. Like right now, that's a huge deal.
Absolutely. And not only like for the public perception and everything like that, but like, if I'm being honest with you and I'm not trying to sound arrogant or anything like that. Once you wrestle somebody, you usually can kind of tell where you are in relation to them as far as skill level. And, getting there, I didn't feel too much of a gap between me and Zack, and that was so reassuring and such a confidence boost. Not that, I personally felt like I needed Zack's validation. He's an amazing wrestler and, kind of the top of my genre, but like to know of like, oh no, this is beyond me hanging. Like I feel
there.
Comfortable.
Yeah.
To where like, although the match didn't go the way I wanted to, I was like, oh, I'm ready for round two. And round two, I'm like, I got that in the bag. You know what I mean? So that's the Zack thing was just very crazy. The response to the video I made for it was very crazy. I got to go to a museum exhibit the day after the first produce show. And when I walked into the room, and I swear on my life, this is 100% true, there was like a display board so people couldn't see that I was in the room before I walked in it. And I heard people, artists, managers of artist galleries in New York City talking about the produce show. And, they were talking about it like it was another art exhibit, like it was a play on Broadway. They were talking about it, with the same kind of, reverence that you would for something that, consider more regal or whatever. But it was a very, very different experience. Interesting. I liked it. I like it as a look for wrestling. Like it as a look for wrestlers. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Being seen in that different light.
It's before we recorded or started recording, I was watching your Joey Janela match, and I noticed that match that Zack Sabre, or the way Zack Sabre Jr. pinned you is the way you pinned Joey Janela. You picking up, and you utilizing it. And again, if people ain't noticing, I'm noticing it. But that's
I appreciate that.
I think that's the in being able to watch you mentioned Gresham, your match with I got the graphic, your match with Moriarty at Ashe. It's you got to be paying attention. I mean, I know sometimes people be on their phones or whatnot, but like we're literally hold for hold, move for move. The build up to the two of y'all striking each other at the same time for it to be like, is how much of that, I mean, I don't want to get too deep into how the sausage is made, but like how much of that is conversation and how much of that is feeling in the ring? I
mean, the beautiful thing about the kind of wrestling I do is it's almost all feel. You know what I'm saying? You think Zack wanted to chat with me before the show? I mean, he flew from Japan to California to New York and then back out to Japan. He did not want to talk to me, bro. Which is another thing. Like, so to not have the conversation and still feel comfortable was like
that's where that real comfort for you comes from.
Yeah, and with Lee in the same weekend, and again, like and that's no disrespect to Lee, but I don't feel outclassed. I don't feel
right.
And for that match to go the way that it did, I think shows that there's a lot left on the cutting room floor because the Ring of Honor Pure Champion did not beat me in something that is very adjacent to a pure match. And not only that, but he was so out of his comfort zone and out of his place that he didn't like the trash talk. He didn't like being on the spot in that kind of way. And it got him angry enough that, he felt like you wanted to throw him. Me too, because you're not going to embarrass me. That's my challenge. I brought that piece of culture to Ashe. And I do feel like it is a part of, the show's identity. And just something different too that I feel like I've always wanted to bring to wrestling. There's a lot of talk in wrestling about like and one and how it can be applied to wrestling. There's very famously a metaphor that basically likens pro wrestling to MMA in the same way that the Harlem Globetrotters or and one is to basketball. You know what I'm saying? And there are cats that can do both, and there's cats that can't go either way on both ends of the spectrum. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so for something like this that's so based in connection and entertaining. I mean, if you're not familiar with the Hold for Hold, I don't know what other match you saw where somebody got an Ashy chant and we had to, put gloves on the referee to, distribute the lotion, the emergency lotion. You know what I'm saying?
Again, that stuff. It's that stuff. It's the interaction with Ref Yo. Everything. And you don't get to hear it, but it's y'all. And then it's shout out to Chris, shout out to Swole on commentary. That whole combination. Again, some of the most fun you'll have watching an Ashe broadcast is them Hold for Holds. And again, if you like wrestling, but also if you like the art and the fun that can happen within the squared circle, it's always entertaining. Now, we've talked produce, and you gonna say something
real quick though?
Yeah, go ahead,
just
go
before
ahead.
we move away from that, like,
what do you think?
What's the kind of two-part, like, why choose, or what led you to choose that specific style of wrestling? Because it's not the mainstream, right? You might see it on certain TV shows, but you're not seeing it on Monday, and a great deal you're not seeing on Wednesday. So that being the case, like, what kind of drew you to that? And then secondly, in a black space, I think it's even another level of something different. So what, I guess, drew you to that style, and then how do you think it affects black audiences seeing something different?
So, and thank you. I love that question. So I think, firstly, if you don't know much about my background, I come from the world of acting. I got my master's degree in Shakespeare from the Royal Central School of Speech and Drama in London. And going through university, I had a really difficult time, being a black immigrant in another country, you know what I'm saying? And not only that, but studying something that isn't culturally reserved for us. And I constantly felt misunderstood. But the thing was that I connected and understood the material. And, I learned that the most important part of being an artist is making your message palatable for your audience. You know what I'm saying? And I would see shows that would try to reframe Shakespeare via the Black experience. And for a lot of people, it would be the first time that the art would speak to them because they had a point of access for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think the problem with the perception of technical wrestling is it's always reserved for, a specific kind of wrestler.
Or like a specific kind of fan. Like sometimes it feels like it can be kept that way too as well. Keep going. I'm sorry.
100. No, that's 1,000% true. And, but again, I think it's a lot of times it's because there's not really a point of access. Like, yes, you have Jonathan Gresham, but historically that hasn't been as much of a thing. And a lot of that comes just towards the treatment of Black athletes in general. Yes. If you look at any sport, it could be the freak athlete. They can have the highest vertical. They can run the fastest, but they're not the chess player in the team. They're not the brain of the operation that gets stuff done. And technical wrestling is very brainy. And the thing is that there's a double negative perception, which is not only that it's not reserved for people like us, but also that it has to be boring. Well, if you are like me and you do the work and that your craft inside and out, I know technical wrestling isn't boring, and I know that Black people can be technical wrestlers. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was about how can I prove that there's Black quarterbacks out here, and how can I prove that not only that, but we can be showmen in this thing that is seen as historically boring, So for me, it was like I always wanted to bring this kind of like, what would happen if Wild 'N Out had a wrestling segment? You know, what would that feel like? You know, because the points ultimately in Wild 'N Out don't really matter, but it is more just about like, what joke did I get off? What embarrassing situation did I put you in that people are going to remember? You know?
Right.
And so I was kind of like trying to play with the idea of that. Like, how can I show all of these things off in a way that feels like nobody else on the show is going to have a match like ours.
Right.
No one else on the show is going, you know? And again, you ain't going to see nowhere else where you get the ashy clip. You ain't going to see nowhere else where I'm brushing somebody way backwards in the middle of the match.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, that kind of stuff. So just for me and my life and my upbringing and all the things that are important to me with what I do in this career path, it was vital to kind of take a step in that direction because, you know, you do have people like Lee Moriarty and Jonathan Gresham, and now I've just given them a lane to be able to play in the same, you know, pool that they probably always wanted to, but never had the opportunity.
Right. Exactly. That access is a key. It's one thing I've been talking about a lot with the Necro Butcher Samoa Joe match hitting Dark Side of the Ring, and people being like, "Am I wild for not having seen that match?" I'm like, you may not have been able to access that in 2005. You know what I mean?
Right,
right.
right.
That's what happens now, and now you're able to explore other things. But excuse me, I want to stick on that because you talk about opening the doors and finding different ways to bring people into this particular style and get access to these certain styles of wrestling. And with Produce, I mean, there's opportunities. I mean, they're doing shows where they're curating shows with wrestlers. There's a number of things going on there. I know later this year there's one in particular, in November, a show. It's I looked online, it said you were listed with Darius Lockhart curating that show. They've also got a Pez Watley Invitational that's going on that it feels like a number of promotions that you work with over there as well. Can you talk about some of the other ways outside of, you know, just bell to bell showing you what this thing is that you're trying to draw people in?
Absolutely. So like I'll talk about those two shows that we have coming up. So on September 19th, at the now newly renamed after this SCI weekend. Shout out Isaiah Broner, the SCI winner this year.
Shout out.
I'm gonna try my best not to get my ass beat by him.
I was gonna say I was going through your matches and I saw you got that monster coming up soon. We talking next week type
So
you bet a brick, I'm telling you.
So
you put two bricks in your jacket, they won't go off. The metal detectors.
I talk too much, right? And one of the things I said was, so when I got named #1 independent wrestler in the world, shout out PWI, I'm sending the check on Thursday.
Shut up.
So when I got named #1, Isaiah Broner very loudly responded to it, saying he doesn't understand because he held that belt for nearly 3 years and you know, he had no mention, which I totally understand. And I think that is very, very valid. So what I said was, well, if you have the opportunity to do what I've never done and win the SCI tournament, then you can also see me for this belt. And he has made trips down to Atlanta to try and come up behind my back for the action title. So I told him, if he were to, you know, mark those things off the checklist, maybe he should be #1. And he took that very literal and very fast.
He did that.
And,
he did that.
And
he's an outside kind of guy. You got to watch with them outside guys.
He been outside. He been saying win everything too. He been saying win everything. So good luck.
Yeah. Oof. So. But anyway, so the SCI at the newly renamed Bud Higdon TWE Arena, we are going to be holding the Pez Watley Memorial Tournament. If you are unfamiliar, Pistol Pez Watley, a great territory area wrestler, a amazing early black technician, not only an amazing pro wrestler, a lot of people may not know, was one of the first to desegregate the NCAA's collegiate wrestling program at University of Tennessee, Chattanooga.
Wow.
Which is why this is happening in Red Bank, Tennessee, in Chattanooga, Tennessee, because not only is it the home of Pez Whatley, but we have actually gotten express permission from Pez Whatley Jr. To throw this tournament in his honor.
That's dope.
You know, hopefully they will be here with us in the building the night of the tournament. That was really important to me to be able to give them that access. But essentially, this idea came about before even Produce was involved. Scott Hensley, who is a ring announcer from the area, was always a huge fan of Pez Whatley. And beyond that, with, you know, there no longer being a For the Culture and you know, other companies have been kind of quiet in the past couple of years as well. He was like, hey, I would really like to do my part in making something like this happen. He's like, you know, I'm obviously not the person for it, but he goes, I would love to see it fruition. I think, you know, you could string the dots together to make this happen. So we went to work on it. Shout out Scott Hensley, Action Wrestling, TWE Wrestling, that are, you know, so amazing and uplifting and very big on providing those kinds of opportunities. Of course, we're wanting to give the building and support. Darius Lockhart with Ashe Wrestling, a very close friend of mine and supporter as well. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to have a technical wrestling tournament in honor of Pez Whatley. And, you know, just like everything we talked about before, it's time to show that we got some real quarterbacks out here. And, you know, I have a lot of exciting names already confirmed for that. Look out for an announcement poster on August 1st.
August
1st. And, you know, again, to go back to Produce, Adam was just kind of generally chatting with me about kind of what I wanted to do in the future and some plans and ideas, what I wanted to change culturally about the wrestling space. And I told him about this project, and he immediately wanted to help, you know, figure out how to give us the biggest signal boost. Because like I said, this is just going to be something we were going to try and do independently, at least any way we could. But now it's become a whole other thing, and we will be streaming it on my AEW.
Damn, shout out,
you know, because not only is it important for this platform to get eyes on it, but also a lot of these workers are people who haven't gotten the opportunities that I believe that they should. And this is the opportunity on a very major platform to let them show that they can ball. So if you are anywhere in the Southeast, please come through September 19th to the TWE Arena for the Pez Whatley Invitational. Stream on my AEW if you don't have the travel capacity. And this is really important. So this is going to be cheaper. We're going to make this affordable for people because we really want a good turnout. We really want people to come out and show we really got it like that. So if you can come through, support in any way, share the graphics, all that. Madly appreciate it.
I mean, BRP is going to signal boost anywhere we can. Again, from all we've been talking about, that type of tournament is right up my alley. I need to figure my life out, Darian Bengston. But yeah. So shout out you and Darius Lockhart. Would you say him a favor?
Before we move away from that,
go ahead.
Getting that emotion. What is the weight of getting what you ask for feeling?
Ooh, I like that.
So it's one of those things. I've had conversations with Lockhart, with Shane Taylor about this kind of thing, which is whenever you are not only intensely passionate, but also very capable for those kinds of things, a lot of responsibility comes with that. And I would love to just be a wrestler. If I'm being 100% honest with you, I don't want to run nothing, dog. I want to go out there. I want to get my, graps on. But, if something doesn't exist, but it's something that you want to see in the world, you have to make that change happen. So
yes.
The weight of that is very crushing. I'm not going to hold you. It is very intimidating, but this is something important that has to happen. So, you know, and if you're like-minded like me and you also think it needs to happen, please help me support it, because if this is something that goes crazy enough, this could be something that maybe this is just the inaugural. That's why.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So
100%.
Damn. You know, and again, talking about that point of access thing, you know, a stereotype and criticism of the Black wrestling fan is that we are very WWE pilled.
Yes.
And we don't tend to stray away from that program and that media source.
Right.
So, you know, and other people kind of may not know where to turn to, or certain independents might not seem like they are evaluating our spectatorship. So, you know, this is an opportunity. This is something that is being led by me to support other wrestlers like me. And, you know, all of these companies that are mentioned and involved and helping out, they are not doing this to make money off of this. They are purely helping because they believe in the vision that I also believe in, and trying to really uplift and support. You want to support some wrestlers directly? The proceeds of this are supporting wrestlers directly.
We may need to we may need to figure something out for real, because this important stuff is important all the time. I don't want to. We could probably do this all night, but I don't want to take up too much of your time or the squad, because we got stuff to do. But I will say this, Darian Bengston, you busy, like you're wrestling tomorrow, right?
Oh yeah. Everybody beat my ass, bro. It's a nightmare. I got Lee Johnson, Big Shotty, Lee Johnson, AEW superstar, tomorrow in Atlanta, Georgia, for Action Pro Wrestling, which I am the current reigning and defending world champion. Say the world with me, world champion. Out of country defenses from multiple different champions. And tomorrow we're going to see if Lee Johnson is world champion material. I know he's TV material, but is he world champion material? Is
he champion of the world material? But that's just Friday.
Yes.
Saturday.
Yes. Saturday. Bud Higdon, TWE Arena. I have the Pro Wrestling Symphony champion, Colby Carter. This is a match that is also very important to me. The TWE Arena, if you know anything about my career, is the place where I was essentially built. I've had a lot of starts and seeds planted in a lot of places, but this was the first place to really let me run with the ball. So even as Action Champion, I do take any title defenses very, very seriously in the TWE Arena. The Action title has changed hands before in the TWE Arena, and I'm not trying to be the second person to make that happen. You know, I'm very also big on Southeast first, getting Southeast wrestling companies more opportunities, more eyesight, more vision. So two big champions in the Southeast against each other is going to be a very, very big day on Saturday.
Sunday.
Again, everybody trying to beat my ass. Sunday, look at him. You got a mouth guard in. That's how you know it's a problem.
Oh, shit.
Sunday, Montreal, Quebec. I might, hey man, I might bring the world title up there. We might see. You might need to. I might have to. Montreal, Quebec, Darian Bengston versus Oni King. Oni King, incredible striker, underrated technician. He dropped a video tonight, if you have not seen, showing that Oni King really got the graps like that.
I gotta check it.
You know, I love that for Oni.
But
I would hate to have to expose bro, though. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they have Auntie Anne's in Canada, but I'm trying to make some pretzel poutine when I'm up north. You know what I'm saying? So my bro might have to. Hey,
yes,
man,
it is.
Hey man, my bro might have to find out. You know,
find out. You already know.
You know. So you know, I just got my first W in produce. Oni King already has gotten a W in produce. So somebody's coming out of this with 2 dubs, and I would like that to be Darian Bengston, because you know who don't got 2 dubs? Zack Sabre Jr. Better record than him already. That's crazy.
Damn,
that's what
shout
I'm
out. Now, we mentioned the Adrian Bronner match. Do you have any matches in between this Sunday and that match on the 1st of August?
I'm sure I do, man. I'm always getting my ass beat. So that weekend alone, we have 3 different shows for Naptown All Pro that weekend. That Friday night, I don't think it's announced what I'm doing yet.
Yeah, so I didn't see that. I saw the 1st and I saw the 2nd.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything for the 31st. So if there's something going on and they don't want anybody to know about it, don't say it live on here.
I'll say it like this. I'll say it like this. All right. There's a new sheriff in town in Naptown All Pro. All right. And his name's Darian Bengston. And there's been some troublemakers messing around in my company. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you've been paying attention to the social media of Naptown All Pro, but we got a problem with these coulda bump boys. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying nothing official, but something got to be done, and I just feel like the champion maybe is the one who got to set things straight. That's all I know.
Oh shit! Y'all better pay attention. J Rose, somebody make it happen.
Hey.
Keep it locked to Naptown All Pro. I think there's a new sheriff in town.
There's a new sheriff in town. Not only is there a new sheriff in town, I think there's also a new champion in town in general. And what I mean by that is that Pan-African belt has been very, very cozy and friendly up at Naptown All Pro lately. I'm not saying nothing, again, not nothing official, but I'm just saying, like, Naptown All Pro very much values the Pan-African world title. And if we can have that on the show as much as possible, me as champion, I have no problem with recognizing another championship on my show. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's all about showing that we're the best. And if we have access to both champions, why wouldn't we?
Because the thing is while I was looking for Darian Bengston shows, the other person's shows I saw out there, Big Shug D is out there booked and busy as well. So something tells me worlds can collide very easily, and that's oh my gosh, I can't even. You know what, Darian Bengston, you might have done too much just right, because that I can't even think about that and get anything else going. So we're gonna stick a pin in this conversation there. Okay. Before you go though, please let the people know where they can find you on them social media so they can keep up with all these matches and everything else you got going.
You can find me pretty much anywhere at Darian Bengston. You can find me at Action Wrestling, TWE Wrestling, Naptown All Pro, Ashe, Produce Wrestling. You can find me September 19th at the Pez Watley Invitational in TWE, Chattanooga, Tennessee. You can find me Black Friday in Brooklyn, New York City, with my boy, one of my best friends in the industry, one of my best friends in the world, Darius Lockhart. We are going to be co-producing our own produce show, simply titled Friday. So if you're trying to get in touch with the People's Prince, if you're trying to get in touch with Mr. Everywhere, the King of the Crossroads, that's where you can find me. Damn, you might find me beating Mance Warner's ass for the independent world wrestling title.
I was going to say, it's the one thing I was. Darian Bengston is outside. He's looking to take everybody's titles. Good brother. I thank you for stopping by here. Appreciate you. Damn, we're gonna have to pick again. You got too much going on. We're gonna have to have another conversation very soon.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. Peace out. Peace. Oh man, that was look at that. That was a great time, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, we've seen bro live.
Yes.
We've seen bro on the TV, on the internet. But listen, you already know, like, we've had these conversations. And this is my brand of hip hop. Like, this is the Lyricist Lounge. Like, this is punching words and goddamn, you know what I mean?
100. Well, you know what it is.
Eminem. God dang it, Zack Sabre Jr. is Eminem. Anyway,
we'll talk to brother Darian Bengston soon. Gosh, they got to pick that match up again. They got to pick that up again.